Sex in the pews. Sex in the pews. Sex in the pews.
Sex in the pews.
It's a beautiful day in Tampa Bay, for thank God it's Monday, January 21st, 2019, the only 1/21/2019 in the history of humanity. Let us continue to choose on purpose,
with a purpose,
to give a great week. Greetings, you beautiful humans. This is Glenn Klein.
and Owen Pratt.
Welcome into the pews for a fresh week of revelatory discussion about sex and religion and how they come together. Did you have a good weekend?
Wonderful weekend.
We have had some, usually you ask, how was your weekend?
I just wanted to get past this and get right to it.
Ooh.
No, contrary to belief, I want to get right past the foreplay on this one.
The response we've had to the first week of Sex in the Pews has been not only heartening, but almost overwhelming. I want to really thank you beautiful humans out there for sharing, for liking, for telling folks about it, for commenting. And it's certainly been an encouraging start to this whole freaking thing.
It really has.
And there's so many ways to get involved in this effort. First of all, you can go to sexinthepews.com and just click contact us and give us insight, criticism, ideas for new shows. Perhaps you want to be a guest on the quality podcast known as Sex in the Pews. You can also participate in the Dick Pic of the Week contest. And if you don't know what that is, just go to sexinthepews.com. It's right on the homepage. You just click on the Dick Pic of the Week. It explains the whole thing. In a nutshell, if I can use that terminology, we are encouraging men not to send their penises to women. Well, I'm not saying like Lorena Bobbitt sending the penises to women. I'm not saying like they're actual penises. Although our guest from last week, Jacqueline Moore, she studied dead cold penises, if you'll recall.
She did.
She saw dead cold penises before she saw an actual live angry one.
You're gonna have to check that one out for yourself to get the full context.
If you haven't heard the program with Jacqueline Moore, you're going to want to do it. That was last Wednesday's quality podcast. But women don't want to see your penises, fellas. We want to see their bodies. We want to see their breasts and their tushies. You know what a tushy is, right?
I've heard of it.
It's the back of your front. It's a nice Jewish term for tuchas.
Is that Jewish?
Ass.
Look at that.
Butt.
Thank you to my Hebrew brethren for that one. For that vernacular.
Padunkadunk. What are some other words for ass?
Caboose.
Caboose.
Trunk.
Trunk. Keep coming.
That's what she said.
Men are, all you need to know, ladies and gentlemen, about the difference, basically, we speak in very general terms because things are generally true. Obviously, there's exceptions to every fucking rule, but generally true, everybody's susceptible to gravity, for example, unless you're in a spacecraft, and eventually you're susceptible to gravity anyway. But we speak in general terms because we want to help the most people that we can. So generally true is that men are visually stimulated. All you need to know about the difference, basically, generally, between men and women is our sex organs. Men are out there. Women are
in there.
Yeah, and men are externally, visually stimulated, generally speaking, and women are internally or emotionally stimulated. Survey after survey. Men, what do you find attractive? What's the number one thing you find attractive in women? Tits and ass. However it's articulated. Sexiness, fitness, youthfulness. Women, what's the number one thing you find attractive in men?
Confidence.
Confidence. That's it. Now, the lists between the sexes are like completely inverse. Eventually, looks and appearance and stuff like that catches up with women. And eventually, things like intelligence and humor and ambition catch up with the men towards the women. However, Men and women. I got a newsflash. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Men and women are different. Viva la différence. They are not the same. This will always be the case.
They are equal, but not the same.
Yes, there's a difference between being equal and being the same. Now you might say, well, that sounds sexist. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've listened to any of these previous shows, you know that if push came to shove and you had a gun to my head and I said, I have to say which is the superior sex, I would tell you in no uncertain terms that, in my opinion, the female species is superior to the male. But they are at least equal. But so are men. And so much of what's happened over the last 30 or 40 years is women have begun to find their clitorises and find their way in society and grow independently. And men have been under assault in our society. The pendulum has swung.
Why do you think men have been under assault?
Why do you think, Owen?
Excellent question, Glenn. I really don't know. And part of me hears that and thinks, there's a narrative going on in the cultural narrative right now that men being under assault, that's a reactive thing to say from a toxic masculine point of view.
Yep.
Similar to maybe how you're saying that Blue Lives Matter, that is just a reactive kind of combative way to react to the Black Lives Matter movement, and that saying that men being under attack is just a way to react to the progress that women have made and maybe to take away from some of that.
There is no doubt that there has been a feminization of Western culture, and a lot of that has been healthy. But in the extreme end of the extreme, I'm a feminist, but on the extreme end is there's a stream of feminism that says all sex, all heterosexual sex between men and women is rape, because the man's body part is literally invading the woman, and therefore it's rape. That there could never be truly consensual sex. That's a bridge too far for me. But here's, if you guys can get a picture in your mind's eye right now, whether you're driving or working out or laying in your bed naked with a sex boy fanning you with a ancient Egyptian body fan, whatever you're doing, get this image in your mind. You've got a pendulum that swings, right?
There's one person out there thinking, how did they know?
We're very spiritual on the show, as you know. It's where sex and religion come together. On the one end of the pendulum is where society was since recorded history. Women, remember, ladies and gentlemen, just read your fucking Bible. Women used to be the property of men, just like the cattle, just like the donkeys. They had no rights. They had no equality. It wasn't until this Jewish guy named Saul, who becomes the Apostle Paul, says there's neither male nor female, Jew nor Gentile. That's where the equality, the concept, that was 2,000 years ago. The women's movement is just 100 years old. We just celebrated the 100th anniversary of women getting the fucking vote, for Christ's sake. Jesus. So the pendulum was so far over that once, however, things get released, and sometime we'll talk about how revelation comes to an individual and to society to more line up with equality and freedom and liberty. But it got released, thank God. And the pendulum, in order to go, because it was so far extreme on the one side, it has to come all the way, are you picturing this? All the way over to the other side of the pendulum, eventually to swing back towards balance. Listen, the Me Too movement, thank God. But the Me Too movement has gone too far. This is what happens when there's extreme persecution, extreme genocide, extreme downtrodden treatment of other human beings. Once the freedom gets released, for every action, there's a reaction.
It's almost like it seems like a universal law almost, and even it reminds me of studies that I saw, reports of when Holocaust survivors were released from concentration camps. There was a group of them, or a select few of them, that had, once they got out, they were starved to such a, to near death, that they ate so much once they got out that their bodies couldn't handle the amount of food that they ate, and then they died from eating too much.
There were a lot of Holocaust survivors that were emaciated, obviously, that survived, that eventually become obese, because your body, in that pendulum, once you start eating again, this is why diets don't work. Once you start eating again, you send a signal to your body, was like, oh, we're not starving anymore. Just in case I ever starve again, I'm going to slow the metabolism down so that we store extra fat. This was very common to Holocaust survivors. After the slaves were freed in this country, and the African Americans, because of the 13th Amendment, walked free out of the plantations and the situations they were in, primarily, of course, where we are in the South, a lot of them just came back to the plantation. They know what to do. When you walk in freedom for the first time, this is why the sexual revolution was so extreme. This country and Western culture, because it had been dominated by a religion of shame and a religion of judgment and condemnation. Condemnation for what? For being who you are. I mean, what an awful human experience religion has been. The number one cause of human suffering and death and war throughout recorded history has been due to religion. Religion has caused the wars, even what's going on now in the Middle East. The Islamists think that they're fighting the infidels. They think that they're fighting from the Crusades. When the Catholics went in to the Middle East and massacred Arabs by the bushel load. They want revenge. That's not the healthiest form of philosophy, I don't think. But that's the pendulum. So what we're trying to produce, ladies and gentlemen, and articulate on Sex in the Pews is a more balanced approach, a more rational approach, a logical approach to the dynamic between men and women, between sex and society, and the damage that has been done by religion to all of that. If you want to have a healthy life, a huge component of that is to have a healthy attitude about sexuality. Some people are very horny. Some people, I've got a buddy of mine who's my age who has sex every day without help of any little blue pill. I'm a what? He's like, yeah, I fuck every day. I was like, Jesus, I eat every day. I don't fuck every day. But I never, well, there's been periods that I have, but not certainly for years on end. I can't imagine that kind of libido. Former professional basketball player, the great late Will Chamberlain, has said to have had sex independently with 20,000 unique women during the course of his lifetime. I think he died at about 62 or 64. That'd kill you early too. But they figured out that if from, the time when he would have been be able to be sexually active, maybe at 14 or whatever it was, that he would have had to have sex 3 times a day, every day, with 3 different women in order to get to 20,000.
Wow.
Now, is that possible? Yeah, it's possible. Can I possibly wrap my mind around somebody that would be like that? Nope. But I know there's people that run 100-mile marathons. Mm-hmm. I can't. I've got a friend, Michaela Marie, who's was on the Survivor, and she was a lingerie football player. She's a model, wonderful girl. She ran 7 consecutive marathons over 7 days on 7 continents.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Now, see, we're really impressed with that, but there's something like icky about Will Chamberlain having 20,000 women. To each his or her own. Religion judges one as being good and one as being bad. And that is unhealthy. It's unproductive. It's ineffective. It causes people to act worse than they would act.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that scene in Braveheart when Mel Gibson is getting filleted at the end? And the last thing he screams is, freedom. Yeah. I used to start my old radio show in Clearwater with that, just free. And then sometimes I would end it with that, freedom. Freedom's icky, bro. Freedom's challenging. You got to actually make decisions and be responsible for your decisions. What a concept.
Very ancient concept too. You know, one of the misconceptions I've found about freedom is that most people think that freedom from a tyrannical oppressor is often followed by paradise and just free choice, and you can do and whatever you want. It's just all roses and butterflies and rainbows and it's perfect, but it's actually a misconception, as pointed out by the biblical story of Exodus, that freedom is from a tyrannical oppressor is not often such the Garden of Eden, but more so a long sojourn in the desert, meaningless and aimless, longer than you expected, and trying to find and establish yourself and set out in the unknown. So, and that's been the case for me, even personally, coming out from under the religar, the bondage of Christianity. There's been a long sojourn in the desert, if you will, to find and establish a meaning within my life that is not based upon what I heard from the pulpit.
How you doing with that?
Beautifully.
Glad to report. That is Owen Pratt, and this is Glenn Klein. This is Sex in the Pews, where sex and religion
come together.
Getting back to dick pic of the week, you go to the website, you just click on the dick pic of the week, and if you have to send a dick, send us a dick pic, but not your appendage, gentlemen. This is our attempt for humor and creativity. We're just looking for pictures of famous Richards, also called Dick. Right up there right now is Richard Dick Burton, who's a famous actor and was married to Elizabeth Taylor twice. Apparently he had a fairly big dick, but regardless. And then we have, of course, Vice President Dick Cheney up there, who's still alive, and he's got a movie out, or he doesn't have a movie out, but a movie's out called Vice, which is apparently not a very positive portrayal as the former Vice President and Secretary of Defense. Then we have Richard Dick Dawson, the former and late great host of Family Feud, the first host of Family Feud, great show that my family used to watch at dinner time. We loved it. Still love it, with Steve Harvey. Very good successor to Richard Dick Dawson. And then we have Dickie Smothers of the Smothers Brothers up there. But what you do is you got to pick. It could be anything. Just you use your creativity. We want some creativity. You post the picture. You send us your caption, and the best one each week. So it's Got Splinters, Sex in the Pews T-shirt. That's a good deal. Have you seen the Got Splinters, Sex in the Pews T-shirt?
They look pretty dang good.
Pretty sexy.
Oh yeah.
You guys remember the Got Milk campaign? Got Milk. This one says Got Splinters, sex in the pews.
What do you say we get Melissa on? You bring her into the pews.
That's bad radio right there.
Bad radio, huh?
Yeah, that's bad radio.
Sorry, guys.
It's all right. He's walking in freedom. He's learning. He just never interrupt the flow of the maestro, the conductor. It's like if you were the flautist and you stand up. We got to change the chord there, right in the middle of the concert there, maestro. All right, let's bring Melissa on. Idiot. All right, and we are actually very happy to welcome to the Pews. She's a frustrated, frequent dater who found herself continually questioning the dating skills and behavior of men and sought to seek answers on love and relationships, and thus was born the Facebook Matter of the Heart opinion polls. Please welcome into the Pews the lovely and talented and very, very sharp Melissa Anderson. Melissa!
Hello.
How are you?
I am hearing everything is echoing on my end, what I say.
How's that?
Still now?
Now? Nope, it stopped.
Yay. Truth be told, beautiful humans, we've already done one show with Melissa, and we had a technical problem with that, and she was so kind to be a good sport and come right back on with us for round 2.
Just want to clarify, it's matters plural of the heart opinion poll.
Oh, I like that.
Thank you for the clarification.
And it actually says right here on your bio, matters of the heart opinion poll. And Melissa and I are Facebook friends, and I have participated in many matters of the heart poll. Why did you start the matters of the heart opinion poll?
At the time, I was contemplating deleting my Facebook account because I was really getting tired and annoyed of all the negativity, and it just kind of was bringing me down. And I date a lot, and I just kept scratching my head going, what the hell, all the time. I just couldn't believe what I was experiencing. And so I'm like, I'm sure I'm not the only one with everything going online, with dating and social media. I'm sure everybody, nobody really knows what the rules are anymore. They're kind of changing. So I thought I'd try that, and it actually makes Facebook a lot more interesting for me now.
It does for me. I look forward to the polls. They're done what, about I don't know, how many times a week do you do them?
I tried Monday through Friday. We'll have one every day. Doesn't always happen, but that's my goal.
What were weird things that you were experiencing as a frustrated frequent dater that propelled you to the matters of the heart opinion poll?
Let's see. The first that comes to mind, I was accused of cheating twice when I wasn't even dating the men that accused me of cheating. That really had me head scratching.
Whoa, hold on for a second. Could you further elucidate us on that? How could you be accused of cheating if you weren't even dating the people that were accusing you of cheating?
Excellent question. That's why
I get the big bucks, Melissa.
You're very astute. One guy, we met for a drink, and he did most of the talking. He apologized after the date for monopolizing that. He was a little nervous, but I didn't mind because he was really a very interesting guy. He would bring up topics that I wasn't used to men talking about. And so the very first date went well, and he continually asked me out. And every time we'd go out, though, it'd be to meet for a drink, and it'd be with his friends, which really I didn't mind because even I've dated mostly through online dating. And even on my profile, I stated, I was looking for, platonic relationships too. So it just didn't feel like, well, if we're always with his friends, and he never really took me out on a real date.
Did you have sex with him?
No.
Okay.
Never. Made out a little bit, very extremely PG, but no sex, just kissing. And that was only like twice. Anyway.
Hey, let me ask you this. How much contact have you had since this went away, this guy?
How much contact?
With him?
Actually, we hung out for quite a while after even the cheating
but
gate.
Did you ever have sex with him?
No.
Do you think you might have been a beard?
What?
Do you think you might have been his beard?
No.
Do you know what a beard is?
No.
A beard, you know what a beard is, don't you?
I learned recently what a beard is.
A beard is when a fella is a gay man and is trying to appear more masculine or masculine to his social circle or in public. So he will have a young lady on his arm while having absolutely no intention of doing anything with the young lady.
It did cross my mind. Also, maybe he had a more false confidence that he portrayed than he actually had in real life. I don't know.
All right. So you're having these multiple people dates, and there's no sex, and then he accuses you of cheating because of what? What happened?
Well, first off, before that, I had the conversation with him. I'm thinking this seems to be going down the friendship road. And I told him I'm okay with that. I love hanging out with you and your friends. But it just doesn't seem like it's going romantically. So I just like to say that I still like hanging out with you and your friends, but full disclosure, I'm going to be dating other people.
So wait. So you literally told this putz that you're dating other people. We're friends, and so I mean, you could not have been more open and honest about it. Is what you're saying?
Exactly.
And then you went on a date with somebody else.
No. Basically, and he had nothing to say regarding dating further or being friends, but he would still contact me to go out with him and his friends. And then one time we were out at a bar, and it was with him and his friends. And then we left. I got in my vehicle. He got in there. They got in theirs. And he watched me leave. And then a few days later, he's like, so what'd you do after we hung out that night? I'm like, I don't remember. I probably went home, went to bed. He's like, well, a friend of mine said he saw you leaving with some guy. And I was like, well, you know that's not true. You watched me walk to my car and leave. And I'm kind of getting confused by the line of questioning here. And he's like, well, why would my friend say that? And I'm like, that's a great question. I don't know. And he's like, well, did you? And I was like, well, I don't understand what you're implying. We are not dating anymore. Remember our conversation? He's like, well, I just don't understand that when you hang out with me and you hang out with someone, go out with someone else on the same day. And so,
Melissa, A, this guy was definitely gay. There's no doubt about it. B, and he might not have even admitted it to himself, but B, he was manifesting what Owen and I were talking before Owen so rudely interrupted me and brought you on prematurely. I'm sure it's not the first time Owen's been premature. But anyway, everything Beautiful Humans is about control in life. Because the most human tendency we have is to want what we don't have, to desire what we, and everybody at least subconsciously realizes we basically have no control in life. Yeah. The only thing you can control, and there's some question about that as well, is your attitude about the shit that goes down in your life. Yeah. I mean, how tall are you, Melissa?
5'4".
What great, powerful decision did you make to be 5'4"?
Not a one. Well, no, I can't. You know what? I can't take that back because I used to be 5'3.5".
Yeah.
And then since I started yoga, I gained a half an inch.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
But you didn't do it you didn't do yoga to gain a half an inch.
No, I did not.
Yes.
It was a happy bonus.
Yes. What sex are you?
I'm female.
Big O, how tall are you?
6'4".
And what sex are you?
Male.
And what did you work really hard to establish your maleness?
I ate a lot of spinach.
Yeah. And Beautiful Humans. I think everybody would admit that what your body type is or how tall you are and what sex you were born in and to what family you were born in, what era you were born in, and what your color eyes are, and all those things are pretty much as pivotal as they get, where you are in the birth order, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When you're going to die. Most people have no control over when they're going to die.
True.
So we know we don't have control, and yet we want it so bad.
I know. I think there's a little bit element of stalking because he had said, I think that he drove by my house or one of his friends did, and saw somebody else's vehicle.
Yes, but Mel, that's control.
Exactly.
So people want to control or be controlled. Control or be controlled at all costs. This is why certain personality types are drawn towards certain professions. Your control. More people that are more leaning towards control are drawn to things like law enforcement, the military, politicians,
management,
clergy, management positions, or the ultimate control freak profession was resident camp director, which I was. No, seriously, dude. I am a reformed control freak. And,
reformed is a strong word, Glenn.
And Dawn is a control freak extraordinaire, which my former spouse, who she admits this all day long. I mean, at summer camp, when the kids are living there, the counselors are living there, you decide what time they're going to wake up, what they're going to do that day, what they're going to eat, everything. Some days it might have been Wednesday. I would say, no, it's Thursday. And then your voice goes over the PA and you're the voice of God. So yeah, certain personality, like the clergy, that's a big one. And then of course, other certain personality types are drawn towards things that control you, like religion or the military. Or did I say religion?
The second one I think had a lot to do with control too, because it was an ex-boyfriend and we had just broken up, and he ended up calling me a few days later after the fact, and we were just talking, and he had asked me about what I had just done, or I told him what I just did the night before or whatever, and I told him I went out with a friend and had some drinks and dinner, and he then accused me of cheating because he knew that more friends of mine are male than female. And he was right. It was a male friend, but it wasn't a date. I paid for my stuff. He and my friend paid for his. We've never been linked romantically. All we did was sit and vent about our relationships that had crumbled. And instead of sitting at home eating my weight in ice cream and falling into the depths of depression, I went out and socialized with a friend, which is healthy.
Oh, it's not. It's totally cheating. Mel, I once I once had a hairstylist who divorced her husband because she caught him jacking off to pornography.
Oh. Wow.
Oh, indeed.
A lot of shame involved there then.
Well, it's just here's the advice, beautiful humans, and cannot suggest it enough. Stop with the monogamy, really. If you never want to fuck another person in your life versus other than the one you're with, whether it's your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, don't. But don't have it be a rule. Don't have if somebody strays, if somebody flirts, if somebody kisses somebody. Jesus Christ. We used to play. You ever play Spin the Bottle back in the day, Mel?
No, never.
Do you know what Spin the Bottle is?
Yeah,
you got half girls, half guys, and you spin the bottle, and whoever the bottle ends on the sides, you make out, or you have a little peck on the lips, or whatever the fuck, right? We were doing that when we were 12. Oh, you better not kiss anybody when you're 36, though. That's cheating. Jesus. Get a grip, guys.
Jesus Christ, Lillian.
Oh, Lillian, exactly right. Oh, my God.
But my boyfriend, he would kept trying to control me, though, during the relationship and didn't want me to hang out with any of my
Of course, out of control. See, if you eliminate cheating from the vocabulary, then it's not cheating. And then don't date, or obviously you got to date because that's how you get to know people. But once it's established that you can't have any more guy friends, then fuck them. I mean, really. I mean, I suggest to my clients, once a girl, I mostly guy clients, but it would be true for a woman too. Once they start glomming on, it's like, and there's a connection there, you explain to them, I don't do exclusive. I do committed, but I don't do exclusive because I don't want it. I'm a good person.
What's the difference then?
The difference is...
Excellent question.
The difference is I am committed to the relationship. Mel, you and I have known each other a little bit now, right?
Mm-hmm.
To the degree that we've had this Facebook relationship, and now that you're in the rotation, the power rotation in Sex in the Pews, do you feel that I've been committed to our relationship? It's a yes or no question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been true to my word thus far, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've been present, and I've been supportive, and before we ever even talked on the phone, I was participating in your Matters of the Heart opinion polls consistently and respectfully and humorously, etc. Right?
Exactly.
I've been committed to our Facebook relationship first, and now our more professional relationship on the podcast. If we had a date, I would be committed to showing up on time. I would be committed to showing you a good time. I would be committed to respecting you and to honoring you and all that. And you'd have an amazing time with me, believe me. But
so would that person like be around for the long haul though, or
perhaps just like any, I feel like Owen and I have gone into business together, right? I feel that Owen and I are in a committed relationship. I trust him. I know he trusts me.
I got some side hoes though.
Yeah. Right, and you do, and so do I. And
you're honest about that,
right? And we're not. We support each other in that in very specific ways. I mean, Owen's got the Hitting Home media group. I do my personal coaching and public speaking and marketing consulting. We support each other in that, but we're also business partners like that. Why not take a healthy concept? Yes, and then every so often there is a match that is just a beautiful thing that lasts forever. But if you don't infuse openness into it, you're going to eventually run see, you don't want to be with a guy, Melissa, that doesn't want to be with another woman. Believe me, because he ain't healthy. Now,
that's debatable.
No, it's not debatable.
There are marriages, I think, that, successfully, last being monogamous.
That's not what I'm saying. Of course, those are the exceptions. We know this statistically.
True.
The 58% of first marriages end in divorce. That means 42% make it. What out of that 42% that are left? What do you think? How many of those are really like hitting it? I'll tell you one that is my parents. They've been married for 60 years, 82 years old, and they're still getting it on. For Christ's sake.
Really?
Now, there has been an element of openness in their relationship that I didn't know about. I don't know. I don't know if they've ever strayed. I'd be surprised if they ever strayed. But I can tell you this. My mother, God bless her, she's beautiful 82-year-old woman. I mean, Owen met her. She looks like she's in her late 60s.
Yeah.
I mean, she lifts weights. She plays tennis. She's a good-looking, healthy, just a wonderful person.
Very vibrant.
And one of the things that the Jewish ladies do for some reason is play mahjong. It's a very popular game within Jewish circles with the female sect. And so this is years ago. And they were playing mahjong with a bunch of senior citizens.
I don't know where this is going, but
and they're they're chit-chatting as people do when they're playing cards or mahjong or whatever the fuck. And my mom says, I don't know what the context was. My dad's name is Bob. And my mom says to her Jewish, it doesn't make a difference they're Jewish, I'm just trying to paint the picture. She says, if Bob went out and got a massage, and at the end of the massage, he got a happy ending, she said, how does that hurt me? And all of her friends were like, Eileen. Now, I never knew that was an attitude within their marriage, but I saw it. I knew that my folks would allow each other to comment in front of each other. Oh my God, look at that. My mom would say, oh, look at that guy. He is really handsome. Or my dad would say, oh my God, look at, and my mom would say, yeah, she is. She's good. She's pretty. A lot of people are so insecure in the relationship, they can't share that stuff. Now, my daughter Hannah and her husband Angel, they've been together for 12 years since they were 16. They seem like they got it going on. Those are the few and far between. But we want to idealize them. We want to enshrine those things as something that is attainable for everybody. That's pure freaking luck and hard work.
Mm.
Nobody is willing to put in the work these days. People think it shouldn't be work in a relationship, and I think that is just so wrong.
I do too, and of any relationships work.
True. Yep.
I wanted to knock Owen's block off yesterday, but I chose not to.
Protected my block.
And he probably wanted to knock my block off about 27 times since we started this process and this project. But have openness. You can't have it right away, as far as a discussion, because you'll run everybody away from you. But it's a numbers game. If you want to find a significant other for a long-term situation, it's got to be somebody that's going to be able to be compatible with you. And I'm telling you guys, if you infuse if you don't want your significant other to fuck somebody else, tell them they can. It's human nature. As soon as you draw a line in the sand, people want to jump over the line that wasn't even there before.
One of the best relationships I had was with a female over this past summer, and she was happened to be home for summer from college from out of state, and there was some exclusivity, or excuse me, what would you say, non-exclusivity built into the relationship.
It was open.
Yeah, it was open.
Open-ish.
And she was just home for the summer. She knew it wasn't going to last, and it was one of the most beautiful relationships I had. And I felt like I've spent more time with her, and I was more exclusive with her for just because I wanted to be with her more. It was.
But it's out because you didn't have to. You wanted to be.
I did want to.
You guys. Listen. Here's one thing that you'll agree with, Melissa, and there's no debate about this. The greatest definition of insanity we know is to do things the same way and expect different results. And if there's anything we know, the way we've been doing relationships since the women's rights movement, and since women found their clitorises, and since women got jobs, and since women can do everything, they don't need men for anything. It's a fucking miracle that there's any straight women out there. As big a jerks as guys are, as Melissa is attesting to, heterosexual women must really like the dick. That's all I got to say.
True.
I've even offered up that option, but I don't have the same luck. And I think you found a really great lady there, Owen. But I can't get that in return, because when a guy does not want to share,
You just haven't gone through the numbers.
It's a numbers game, Melissa. It's like anything else. The women don't want to share. Men don't want to share. Why? Because we want to control.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really very basic, but nobody's talking about it, except we are talking about it on Sex in the Pews, ladies and gentlemen. This is Glenn Klein, Owen Pratt in the official studios known as Hitting Home Studios in Tampa Bay, Florida. We're talking with Melissa Anderson, who is the founder and host of the Facebook page Matters of the Heart Opinion Poll. Actually, she's the host of the poll. It's on her personal page, Melissa with one L. You can find her, Melissa Anderson. It's really important for us, Mel, to have the female voice, because I have been studying this and working on this for decades, and I know it's controversial. I know that it is out there, but we had a guest on.
We need someone who's in there.
Exactly. We need a lot of people that are in there. Exactly right. But amazingly and interestingly, most everything I've learned about the dynamic between men and women, I've learned from women. Everything that I'm articulating, I made it my own. I've added to it. My major mentor 20 years ago was Madam Sherry Ford, a former hooker and madam from Las Vegas. God, was she smart. She's passed a few years ago. God bless her. What do they say all the time? God rest her soul.
God rest her soul.
What an interesting person. I was doing a show here in Clearwater, and she reached out to me. She was writing a book on her experiences, and she started coming on my show. And as many of you beautiful humans know, I'm a former minister, and so we started doing a show called The Madam and the Minister. It was fun. Yeah, it was sponsored by the adult toy store on Kennedy in Tampa. That's no longer, it's a furniture store now. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing, running a business. But I would do the show remotely from there. So I was driving here's another example, perfect example here, Melissa. I'm driving my mom home to the airport to fly back to California, and drive right by the adult toy store on Kennedy. People know exactly where this is in Tampa. And I said, Mom, there's the sponsor of my show, the adult toy store. She said, pull in there, honey. I'll get something for Dad. You could have knocked me over with one of those Egyptian feather waving things. See, that's good comedy right there. You went all the way back to the laying in bed being fanned by an Egyptian slave boy.
You didn't have the sex talk when you were a young lad.
Yeah, here's the extent of the sex talk that my parents gave me. One day, my mom sat me down in our kitchen in Morton Grove, Illinois. Jerry Grossman, my mom, who was a beautiful lady, best friends with my family, right next door neighbor, brought Arlene Grossman, who is my age, and we were, grew up together. They bring us in. They sit us down at the kitchen table at my house. They stick a cartoon book in between me and Arlene and said, here, read this. That right there is the extent of my entire conversation with my parents on sex until, the last 20 years or so. And then the years I was in religion, you know what, the religion sect that we were in, we had seminars on how not to think about sex. Because you know what Jesus said, if you think about sex, you've committed adultery. That is one of the greatest fucked up.
Committing adultery so hard.
24/7. Melissa, do you know the statistic that the average healthy man thinks about sex every 6 seconds?
Yeah, I think that's questionable. I'm not sure. I mean, how do you guys get anything done then if you guys are thinking about it that much?
1. Yeah, I just counted 6 seconds.
We get a lot done, mostly because our job is surrounded by about thinking about it.
Well, it's in our case, but see, most of it's subconscious, of course. But it's there all the time because we're visually stimulated. So we're looking. We just look around the studio. Look about how many things that are shaped like dicks, for example. Just that alone.
The reason I work is because I want to have more sex and with more beautiful women. I mean, aside from the mission-based things and the impact that I want to have on the world.
Well, even the mission-based things.
Being able to leave a legacy could be argued that I want to spread my seed across the landscape of my existence with my legacy and the impact that I have on the universe.
Amen, brother.
Does sex trump your mission always?
Does sex trump my mission? Is that the question?
Yeah. So if it's sex or your mission, is it sex going to always win?
What a great question. That's why Melissa gets the big bucks.
You know what?
Oh, sex could. There's the phrase "power of the pussy" has emerged for a reason. We'll put it that way.
That is true.
And for everyone that's still got that icky feeling from that Egyptian slave boy comment, Egyptian slave boys would have been white, by the way, because Egyptians were black. And if you look at old hieroglyphic, the slaves were white.
Thanks for that update from the Sex in the Pews newsroom, Owen Pratt. But Melissa asked you a yes or no question. Does sex always trump your mission?
Does sex trump my mission?
She said always. It was a yes. By the way, great Matters of the Heart opinion poll question there, Melissa.
I would say no. It's tough though, because the point that I was making was that my mission was largely motivated on a subconscious level, sexually, to leave a legacy, which is the same thing as impregnating and leaving, spreading your seed.
I maintain that everything's about sex. Everything. Just like everything's foreplay. There's a reason that they call the interplay between men and women intercourse, or between people intercourse. Between people intercourse. Is obviously at most of the interaction you have with a human being is not sexual, but it is. It's intercourse. Are you giving or are you receiving? Sometimes you need to receive. You just have to.
I think foreplay starts long before you hit the bed.
Yeah, but I absolutely agree with that, of course, Melissa. But don't miss my overarching point. Is that I watched? Do you know who John Mayer is?
The musician?
Yes.
Okay, the Body is a Wonderland guy.
Yes.
Body is a Wonderland.
Can you sing that first?
Off key.
Please.
Nope.
Just go for it a little bit. Why?
I don't want to. I don't want to make my singing debut on this singing job.
You just did it.
You'll rewind it and you can hear it.
You could edit this out, actually.
I could.
Owen.
John Mayer is renowned for his sexual prowess and for him being an alpha dog. And I think there's very few actual natural alpha men out there.
I thought it was about being an asshole.
No. He's a dick.
I didn't hear the prowess part, so.
We interchangeably use dick and asshole in our society. That guy's a dick. That guy's an asshole. It basically means the same thing, correct?
Well, I mean, is he, being open and honest with all his ladies that, this is who I am, accept me or not?
Melissa, stay with me here, will you, please?
Okay. Sorry.
A dick and an asshole, when you call somebody guy a dick or some guy an asshole, it basically means the same thing. That guy's a dick. That guy's an asshole. Correct?
I'm not sure.
It's a yes or no question.
Usual context, but we'd had this conversation before.
But not on the radio. We haven't. So just humor me, will you, please?
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So, but you guys, dicks and assholes are not the same thing. Hello. Dicks are dicks, and assholes are assholes. But because women, getting back to our original point, or one of our original points, the number one thing women look for is confidence. They are more attracted to the bad boys because they are many times exhibiting a fake confidence, a faux confidence, because they're actually covering up their insecurity. We have like a current president that will remain nameless. I'm not saying which country the president's from. That is a major asshole. But he comes across or tries to come across as confident because he's covering up his insecurity. It comes out all the time. I'm not saying which president it is. I'm not saying which state he's from or which buildings have his name on it. I'm not saying that at all. But
Totally confused.
But once a woman gets with a guy who she thinks confident, and perhaps that particular president's wife, who in many countries call the president's wife first lady, the current first lady of this particular president may have found out some things after the pressure and the spotlight's been brought to bear that maybe this guy wasn't who he said he was. It wasn't such a bad boy or confident man. Maybe he ended up being a real asshole. Assholes stink. That's when they're working properly. They emit nauseous fumes and shit. Dicks basically have two purposes. If a dick is working properly, a dick brings
pleasure and life.
Yeah. But for a dick to bring pleasure and life, it's got to be hard. It has to be firm.
It's got to be virile,
erect,
potent, penetrating,
well-positioned. Women are attracted to assholes, and then these guys, Melissa, are the ones that become the stalkers, and become the jealous motherfuckers because they're so fucking insecure. A true dick is looking to please. A true dick is not an asshole, because a dick and an asshole aren't the same. And if a woman is straight, are you strictly heterosexual, Mel?
Yes.
Okay.
But might be considering changing teams.
And I can't blame you for one goddamn second. And so, but if a woman is straight, she don't want another pussy. She's already got one. She doesn't need another pussy. She wants a dick. She wants somebody that's firm and hard and erect. But remember, you guys, that sounds kind of misogynistic, doesn't it? That sounds sort of sexist. No, I'm talking about strict biology here. If a dick is soft and flaccid and impotent and limp and weak, he ain't going to be happy and she ain't going to be happy. But if a dick is penetrating and firm and it knows what it's doing, and a dick knows that it's more blessed to give than receive. A dick loves to receive, but it is much more interested. He's much more interested in providing pleasure and life. Owen just talked about it. Owen's a dick, I can tell you. I've been working with him now for a couple of months. His whole purpose in life is to give life and pleasure, to leave a legacy. He said it, to spread his seed on the earth, to spread the love.
I have to say, based on your definition, that dicks are rare and assholes are everywhere.
Absolutely.
Dominate the world.
That's just what I said. Another term for dick is alpha male. People think that certain presidents are alpha. No, they're not. Not the president that I'm referring to.
Alpha assholes.
Yeah, they're not alpha males, but there are. I've met a couple. John Mayer, I think, is one of them. And the women that he's been with, which are legendary, say very nice things about him. But I was at a concert. He became an
Were
officiant.
you on drugs?
Yes, to your yes or no question. If you count marijuana and old style beer as being drugs. I was at it was at the Dead and Company at Wrigley Field a couple summers ago. It was amazing. And I was in the front row. There was 50,000 people there, and John Mayer is playing the Jerry Garcia role with Dead and Company. It was, oh God, is he good. But I watched this dick, this alpha male, make love to 50,000 people with his guitar and his voice. You talk about bringing people to pleasure and life and ecstasy, and oh my God. And because, see, this is how I look at shit like this. This is my job. I mean, it's a tough gig, but somebody's got to do it. So I was in the front row, so I turned around and saw this ballpark that I've been at my entire life that I love, filled with 50,000 deadheads, many which were on more heavy drugs than ganja and Pabst Blue Ribbon. And I was like, this guy's got these 50,000 people in the palm of his hand, and all he's doing is sending waves of pleasure in life. What a gift.
If this is true, if he is a true dick by your definition, we need to somehow let him know he needs to take a break from making music and teach some classes to men.
What am I? Chopped liver, for Christ's sake?
Well,
Jesus.
Why don't you have him on as a guest and you two collaborate then?
Hey, John Mayer, if you're listening right now, head over to sexandthepews.com, submit your guest request.
John Mayer, go to the Dick Pick of the Week contest, and you can submit your actual dick, because there's probably a lot of women that would pay to. No, they don't give a shit. They don't. Isn't it amazing?
I'd pay.
You pay? Of course.
$7.
We would pay. We
15.
would pay because we care. It's the men. We're the one obsessed about dick size, not women, right, Melissa?
I had to make my own meme for Facebook to tell the men that please stop sending me your dick pics. So yeah.
Did it work?
It's not that I don't appreciate the male form. I do. But it's like the action, you just all of a sudden in your messenger, you'll receive, boom, dick pic.
Yep.
Oh, hello. Hi. How are you?
Nope. That's the guy that sent you a dick pic is not a dick. He's an asshole and or a pussy.
Have you ever sent tits in the same fashion to a guy?
Never.
See, guys, women don't think the way we do. If they're
if you want to see boobs, there are plenty online.
Yeah,
you
but
don't need to see mine.
Yes, well, we want to see yours, Mel, but that's another story. but the point is that we want to see everybody's boobs.
Ladies, submit your tit pics to Dick Pic.
we love tits. I sorry, but here's the thing, and this is a really immature approach to relationship, is that people think that person thinks the way I do. That's stupid.
And it's almost threatening, I think.
It is, and Louis C.K., the great comic, the genius comic,
semi-controversial,
got in trouble for not just showing his dick. He would ask for permission. May I masturbate in front of you? And he was doing this before he was famous. That's fucked up, even if you're not famous. Unless you're in a relationship with somebody that knows that you get turned on. And we were talking earlier with Melissa about possible role-playing moments, and if that's part of your, what turns you on. But after he became famous, and of course young female comics would come in just to be around his aura, and then he would ask them. That's fucked up. Guys, that's why we have the Dick Pic of the Week. If you got to send a dick pic, send us your dick pic, just a famous picture of a Richard with a funny caption. You can win a free t-shirt.
This contest might go awry.
Well, I don't recommend sending your actual dick, because sometimes that does go awry.
You'll
and
post them.
Just ask Brett Favre if sending your dick out there. I mean, if there's any man, see, this goes. Brett Favre seemed like such an alpha male, right? Nope. Brett Favre, if he was an alpha male, he never would have sent his dick to that woman from the New York Jets. It fucked up his legacy for a time being. People are like, oh, forget about that. But in individual fetishes and fantasies and stuff like that, that can be worked out and should be worked out between people that are intimate and get to know each other and become friends and lovers and whatever. I mean, I've never really been into role playing. Have you ever done anything role playing, Owen?
The answer is yes, but not intentionally.
Well, I think most things are intentional eventually.
It happened to be Halloween.
It was just a coincidence.
Happy accident.
It was a happy accident, Melissa said.
Yes, it was.
What happened? What happened in your role playing accidental happy accident?
So back in my Christian days, which is a relevant part of the story to add a little irony.
It's relevant or irrelevant?
Relevant. Okay. Christian trying not to have sex, trying to be the good abstinent Christian that was saving his purity for marriage.
Yes.
Quote unquote purity. And it's Halloween in Tallahassee at Florida State University, and I am wearing a leather suit of armor that is an exact replica of, I think it was actually Lord of the Rings, but it was leather. Anyway, long story short.
Well, wait, like a Roman centurion look? Is that?
No, it's more like what were they called? The Uruk-hai. Google Uruk-hai from Lord of the Rings, and you'll get an idea of what it was. It was that in leather. So I'm wearing this, and I've got a sword to go with it, and I meet a lovely woman dressed.
What do you mean you have a sword to go with it?
I had a sword. It was
like
rubber.
a sword. Oh, you had like a prop.
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to what was underneath the skirt.
I still maintain that as well.
Okay, thank you.
So I meet a lovely lady who, ironically, was dressed in red horns and a red cape and had a little red trident, was dressed as the devil.
What? Wait a second.
Spiritualize it how you may.
Wait, you're okay. You're a good Christian college kid trying to be a good Christian.
Yes.
Okay. Trying to be abstinent.
Mm-hmm.
And you're dressed for Halloween.
Yes.
And you meet the devil.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just want to get the picture in my mind right.
And I'm got my sword and she's got her trident.
These are euphemisms, correct?
We're going back and forth, literally and metaphorically, and before we know it, we're wrapped in each other's arms, and one thing led to the next, and I'm wearing my leather suit of armor, and and just the magic happened.
Your sword connected with her trident? Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly what I'm trying to say.
Wait, Mel, I was kind of distracted. Can you do that again, please? Thank you. So were you guys in costume?
I was, because it was the straps in the back were a little hard to get off, and there seemed to be more important issues at hand than taking my suit of armor all the way off.
Well, how did we have access?
I was wearing shorts underneath it.
It was kind of like a kilt looking thing.
It hangs over. It's got
It online. We have to see this.
All right. We will actually not right now. We will put it up as part of the promotion of the show. Of course, there is a picture of it. I'm sure somewhere.
I'm super intrigued.
Okay. So, did you find? Obviously, you were not supposed to be doing that. So, because you were a Christian,
correct.
So did you find that particularly erotic?
Oh, it was incredible.
And did you find the sort of the role playing and the costuming also?
Everything about it was stimulating.
Yeah. And then when it was all done and you went home, what did you do?
I was covered in guilt and shame, and I prayed and asked God for forgiveness and repented, and took a shower. Took my suit armor.
This is what did you ask, Melissa? I'm sorry.
You took a shower together?
No,
I took a shower afterwards to try and wash the spiritual
Gotcha.
filth off of me, of my sexual sin.
No, this is the word that just keeps coming back to all the women, specifically, uniquely from the women that we're talking to on Sex in the Pews, is about shame-based religion, sexual shame. And this is what we're against, you guys. We're not against the people. The people are perfect and righteous. Everybody is. Everybody's one. Everybody is one. We're all God, for Christ's sake.
Bitches.
Melissa, have you ever encountered any role playing? Do you how much do you enjoy role playing?
I love it. I haven't done it much because it's really hard to get my male partners to get involved in it. But and if you go to my Facebook page,
Where do
you
you
will
live?
see that I love Halloween. So it's not, a real big stretch to learn that I would love role playing.
Did you ever dress as the devil?
No.
Did you ever
No, never.
ever encounter with a Roman centurion?
I have not.
What
Sounds like a bucket list item.
what have you had as far as role playing?
Oh, lots. Let's see. I had one partner who in particular was super into it, or pretty much anything I think that I would be into. And I know we did like therapist and patient, doctor patient.
Which were you, the therapist or the patient?
The therapist.
Oh, of course.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's like the Sopranos are celebrating their 20th anniversary of their opening the show, and that was the whole show. Was Tony Soprano, the mobster, going to Dr. Melfi, the woman therapist, and he wanted her bad. And
they ended up doing it, didn't they?
Nope, only in Fantasyland.
Oh, really?
Oh, I ruined the ending. I should have done a spoiler alert. The show's only been off for 15 years, but I should have done a spoiler alert. All right, what else?
Let's see. Like rich, lonely housewife and like UPS driver or plumber or something.
What do you mean? What did they dress up like a UPS guy?
He didn't do the costumes so much as I did, but
What was
I
your
dressed
costume
up
in that
like a
situation?
dress and the pearls and was perfectly put together. And
did you
I can't remember specifically, or maybe we did both, plumber or UPS driver, but and cop and whatever, perpetrator, stuff like that. Joggers meeting in the park, so we take things outside of the home.
When's the last time you did something like that?
It's been a long time.
Well, what's a long time?
4 or 5 years, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, listen, you guys, go to Facebook, and you can go on my Facebook. It's Glenn Klein here in beautiful Riverview, Florida. Melissa Anderson. Are you friends with Melissa yet, Owen?
I am.
Okay. You go to Owen Pratt, also in, I don't know, where are you located on Facebook? Are you still in West Palm or whatever?
I don't know.
We'll correct that. Anyway, go to Melissa Anderson. Friend request her. If she approves of you, you can participate in the Matters of the Heart opinion poll. If you're a fella, do not send her a picture of your penis.
Don't. And anyone can participate in my polls, even if you're not a friend. So.
Oh, that's cool. And then maybe she hasn't done the play acting, the role playing for years, so maybe if you're into that, guys, be
guy,
a dick. Don't be an asshole.
And if there are ladies listening, please participate. Come to my page because I want more ladies to contribute.
Yes, we do
been
too.
a real missing part of my polls.
Yeah, and I think that it bears mentioning here, Big O, is that the dick pic of the week is not just for guys. Women can post famous pictures of Richards and come up with clever and cute and funny sayings, and they can win a Got Splinters, Sex in the Pews t-shirt.
Woohoo!
Guess what I forgot to do, Big O?
What'd you forget?
Because I was, kind of like mid-sentence when I was really interrupted by my producer to bring Mel in. I forgot to bring in our midway jingle.
It's all right. We'll close out with it.
Do we have it?
We're locked and loaded.
All right, we're going to play it first, and then I want to get Melissa's take on this for a reason. Listen closely, Mel.
Okay.
Sex in the pews. Sex in the pews. Sex in the pews.
Sex in the pew.
Oh. How do you like that?
I didn't hear anything.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Did that record? Oh,
Mm-hmm,
okay. Well, the reason that I played it, you heard it at the beginning of the show, right, Melissa?
I believe so, yeah.
It goes sex in the pews, and then it's sex in the pews. First of all, that's my daughter Hannah and her husband Angel, incredible, beautiful humans, and obviously talented. There's been several people that was like, love the second part of the jingle, not so much the first with the sex. But see, this is religion versus sex. And the sex in the pews is like it's aggressive and it's inappropriate and it's so different from the very sexual and lovely melodic tones. And I wanted it to be definitive, but then the big O and I were talking, and this gentleman that we were talking to said the same thing. He was like, "But I can't get sex in the pews out of my mind." I was like, "Boom, boom."
Mission accomplished.
There's certain times they use mission accomplished, and there's certain times not. After you've defeated a Middle Eastern foe, you don't want to land on a frickin' aircraft carrier with a big banner, mission accomplished, and then have the war go on for another 17 years. Just saying.
Yeah.
That was not the president I was referring to earlier, by the way. So did you have fun, Melissa?
Absolutely.
We so appreciate it. Thank you very much. Again, Melissa Anderson. She is the founder of the Facebook poll Matters with an S of the Heart Opinion Poll. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her at sexinthepews.com. Let us hear from you this week. And go to the Dick Pick of the Week contest, or just go to contact us, and you can email us at fun@sexinthepews.com or leave your comments on the website, and we'll do it all over, Lord willing, if the creek don't rise on Hump Day on Wednesday.
Keep an eye on the creek, everybody.
And until that time, unless the Lord wills or the creek rises, this is Glenn Klein
And Owen Pratt
saying shalom, everybody.
I exited out of it.
Bitches.